So far in this series, we've learnt about different notes and key signatures and why they are so important to helping a song or a piece of music sound good. In this lesson, we're going to learn about triads. A triad is a type of chord. More specifically, it's a chord with 3 notes. Just like a triangle has 3 sides and a tripod has 3 legs, a triad is a chord with 3 notes. Working out the notes of a triad is surprisingly easy, especially when you make use of your knowledge on accidentals and key signatures. Let's take a look at the piano. We're going to play a triad from the note C. Now obviously, the first note will be C. To play the remaining notes of the triad, we skip the next note, which is D, and play the one after, which is E. We then skip the next note, which is F, then play the next note, which is G. Play all 3 notes together and you have a triad starting on C, your first chord. Let's take a look at this on the stave. If we write the notes C, E and G on the stave, notice how they are all in spaces on the stave. This pattern is similar with all triads. If you play a triad on F, the notes will be F, A and C. If the first note of the chord is in a space, then so are the remaining notes. If we take a triad of G, which is G, B and D, the first note, which is G, is on a line, so all the remaining notes are on a line too. It's something that's useful to know when writing out triads. Sometimes in music we hear the term tonic triad. We know what a triad means, but what about tonic? The tonic is the first note of a scale. For example, in the key of C major, the tonic is C. In the key of F major, the tonic is F. The first note of the scale is called the tonic. So a tonic triad would mean a triad starting with the first note of the scale. If I asked you to name the tonic triad of G major, could you do it? Well, the first note is G because we are in G major. Then, by skipping alternate notes, we can work out the rest of the notes are B and D. So the tonic triad of G major is G, B and D. Similarly, a tonic triad in C would start with the note C, then you would add the remaining notes of the chord E and G. Sometimes our triads are affected by the key signature. As we know, some scales have sharps or flats. For example, let's take a look at D major. If I asked you to name the tonic triad of D, what would you say? If you say D, F and A, I can see why. You've applied the same formula we've discussed previously, which is the right thing to do. But think back to a couple of lessons ago when we looked at scales and key signatures. The D major scale contains the notes F sharp and C sharp. Therefore, the tonic triad of D major would be D, F sharp and A. So when figuring out triads in different keys, make sure you remember the key signature of the scale you are using. That's it for this lesson on triads. Click the link below to complete the quiz and test your knowledge.